Welcome, everybody, to episode 12 of the Gig Sessions Lunchtime Talk. I just want to remind you that we're now streaming live on YouTube, so if you like what you see here, please take the time to subscribe to our page. Please note that this is a place where you can ask the artist any questions. What we ask is that you put a Q in front of your comments so it will help us to monitor that you are asking a question. We're streaming live on YouTube and Facebook, so we apologize if we do miss your question. They don't all come through. So let's get to today's guest. First, we have guitarist, singer, and songwriter Alastair Greene. He's been a mainstay in the Southern California music scene for over 2 decades. He's best known for his blues-based, soulful, and melodic guitar playing, as well as being one of the rare breed to play slide guitar. The Alastair Greene Band was formed in 1997. Welcome, Alastair. Good to see you.
Good morning or afternoon.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's morning to you, after lunch to me.
Yeah.
The next guest is Anthony Rosano. He mixes traditional blues elements with contemporary rock styles. From North Hill country blues to second line funk, fused out guitars, and urban groove. It all blends into an original sound that's familiar to the fans of blues and classic rock. Along with the backing group of the musicians known as the Conquerors, Anthony has been an International Blues Challenge finalist twice and earned many accolades since starting the group in 2012. Welcome, Anthony.
Hey, how you guys doing?
What's
So have you two ever met?
No, this is our first meeting. This is awesome.
Yeah, it's cool.
Well, I have to jokingly say that Anthony qualified himself for this because he grew his hair long like you, Alex.
Yeah.
Ah, nice. Gotta keep it alive.
I've been working on it, yeah.
So what have
get you to
you
grow
been
a
working on
mustache.
besides a mustache and hair?
I've actually been writing a bunch since things have been locked down. We just got the band just got off tour with Bob Seger this past fall, so it was pretty cool. We did about 10 dates, bunch of outdoor sheds and stadiums, and I could thankfully say I got to play Madison Square Garden before everything shut down, which was pretty cool. Yeah. So yeah,
Sold out show?
Oh yeah. Yeah, and it was because of us. It wasn't Bob Seger. It was sold out. No, it was all the Bob Seger shows were sold out. It was an incredible experience, and I'm thankful to him for giving me the opportunity to do that. It was great.
That is awesome. So how about you, Alastair? What you been up to?
Kind of writing and recording and doing some collaborations with some other artists. I've got a little bit of a home studio set up here, which enables me to play on people's records remotely, which is cool. And a little bit of teaching, and got a new record coming out with on Tab Benoit's label that's coming out August 23rd, called The New World Blues. And we just announced that last week, so we're kind of going into album promotion mode.
And did you do your CD, Anthony, with Mike Zito at Tab Studio?
It was not a Tab studio. It was at in New Orleans, Mike Harvey's studio. Why am I blanking out? I think it was just Dockside recording studio. No, we were going to go to Dockside, but they got flooded out. Which unfortunately, that area is dealing with some problems again now.
Yeah.
And prayers. Hopefully, everybody down there is okay.
I know.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Can this year get any worse?
No.
You just wait.
I mean, don't say
You
that.
just
Don't say
wait.
that. Man. Don't say that.
So
No, we
this
just
album,
said it to Zito, the record with Zito there.
and so, because it was pre-Zito having his own studio.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you released last year, January?
No, it's been a while. It was back in 2017 we did that record.
Good Lord.
And we've just been hammering it live ever since. I've just been, I'm not really, although I'm active on social media, I'm not really like a fan of the virtual experience. I like live music. So that's what we did. We just kind of went out. I think we played almost 300 shows, like 280 something shows last year.
Wow.
And, you know, right in between that, I've got a bunch of stuff written now. I'm getting ready to release some stuff on Spotify, I think, that I did at my home studio. And just did it while things have been shut down. It's actually kind of been a little bit of a blessing to have a breather, you know, to write.
And have you found that any of your mindsets and how you were spending your time and your job came to light, that you could do things differently? I mean, has the downtime brought epiphanies to the brain?
Oh, yeah. I've rethought my entire life. I'm shaving my head and moving to Tibet when this is all over and becoming a monk. I'm done. No, I'm just kidding. No, you know, the one cool thing is the technological curve, that the learning curve has always been intimidating to me. But this has really inspired me to figure out how to use a video camera on my computer, get into recording stuff more and sending files and collaboration. So that's been a good thing for me. I've just forced me to learn some new technology and stuff, because I didn't want to get CDs when they came out. I wanted to stay with records, you know, so I've always kind of fought a little bit against technology, but now it's like, I got to do it. I got to embrace it.
Yeah. I mean, it's been, I think it's been like that for a lot of people. You know, like you're now forced into the live streaming thing. I know when this first happened, I set up my studio downstairs and recorded all my live streams and then put them up on AnthonyRosano.com. So if you, instead of tipping, if you wanted to go buy a download of the live stream, it was like $5. And I figured that way somebody was getting something other than just a live show too.
That's cool.
But you know, how many times can you do the same 50 songs?
Right.
So that ran out kind of quick, but yeah, doing the video thing, I mean, it's crazy. And some of the stuff that I'm seeing out there, people are really creative, which is cool.
I don't know if you saw the one that Sean Amos did, Reverend Sean Amos. It was brilliant. It was in the beginning of when the live streaming was coming into play. And he was like one of the first that actually collaborated a video with his band.
Yeah, that's cool.
It was really neat. Like, he was in the closet getting dressed, and, you know, his bass player was moving his bass, and it was really cute how they did it. Very creative.
Yeah, it's forcing people to get creative. There's no doubt.
Yeah, I don't do this. This is not me.
I was
like
say,
to leave
Tina,
the
what
front
are you
end
doing?
to you guys. So yeah, this may.
What are you doing, Tina? What's going on with you, Anthony? That's a great question for Tina.
Well, when you talk about, you know, changing your mindset and partially because of COVID, but also something I've wanted to do that I never had time for, is learning how to become a homesteader.
Oh.
So we have been building big gardens and trying to find out if we would get exiled from our town if we got a cow and a hog.
Do you legit have a cow?
Well, we live in a tiny town. We are a town. But I just read in a city ordinance that yes, we can.
Oh, that's awesome.
And we have a little over an acre, so we have enough property to do that. But so far, we've got chickens. We've got a garden. I would have to have the fiance's commitment that he would take care of the butchering. That's the part I couldn't do.
Don't name it.
Well,
Don't get a cow and name it. You'll never eat it.
The funny irony, when I lived in Colorado, the house we lived in, they had cows. And every morning those cows would greet me for coffee. They have such interesting personalities. And I did name them. But I also knew we were going to leave before I ever had to eat them.
Yeah, I'm probably going to make people mad, but I would be like, all right, your name is Delicious. Come here, Delicious.
That's a
Come
tough
here,
one.
Delicious.
That's a toughie.
I wouldn't really
you
do
almost
that. I
have
wouldn't
to
really
do that,
That's
Anthony.
bad. That's bad. I wouldn't do that. I'm just being funny.
Yeah. But otherwise, you know, income-wise, I'm working hard to become a professional eBayer.
Oh, right. Yep, I can dig it.
Yeah.
And so far, I'm starting in my home.
Well, can I ask a question of you, because you are in this business and stuff, and like I'm hearing all kinds of different things about gigs and whens and wheres and hows, and we're probably all up on what's been announced as far as people doing some of these drive-in shows and some of these outdoor social distance things. What's your feeling? I'm sorry, I'm turning the tables on you. I'm interviewing you now.
I love this. No, this is good. Thank you.
What's your feeling as far as when you think any sort of actual ground touring could come back? Because I could see local things starting to happen at whatever time, depending on where you live. Things are different everywhere you live. If you live in one town in one state, it could be different than 50 miles away. So, I mean, I'm hearing a year, I'm hearing 6 months, I'm hearing there's some people that have dates on the books at the end of this year that haven't been postponed. So,
yeah, I think you're gonna see a few events carry forward, you know, like in that September, December timeframe. But not that I want to touch on this, but I think it's something that has to be touched on. It's highly likely we're going to get a second wind of this virus.
Right.
And so if what science is saying, or the past history of China and Germany, that's going to happen sometime in September or October.
right.
So I kind of think that, folks are hoping that isn't the case, and certainly talking January forward.
Mm-hmm.
But my personal opinion, and it's so hard to make a prediction on something you don't know. But I say that if we're moving forward as we are and the second wind doesn't happen, I think we're all looking at March.
Mm-hmm.
If the second wind happens, absolutely, we're looking at May or June.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of what I've been hearing. I mean, it's just no one can tell. You can't really predict it, but
because again, there could be that person, because every state is in their own open, close, don't do live music state. So there could be those promoters that find the right way to fly you in. So it's so hard to know that answer, but as far as survival and how to prepare, I think April of 2020 is a good space to put it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's frightening, because how much live streaming and guitar lessons.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's not even just for us, the performers, but I met so many cool people who work behind the scenes. When I did the stadium tour with Bob, Uncle Bob, there's literally, people don't understand the amount of people who are out of work. Light guys, monitor engineers.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy. It's insane the amount of people that are at work. I wish there was a way to turn this thing around on a larger scale for those people.
And that was a comment that was made to me last week. I have a drive-through in my backyard that I'm seriously going to take a look at and see cost-wise if it even makes any sense. And a friend said to me, Tina, we're all out of work. Call that sound company. You're going to be surprised. They'll probably be happy to come on board. So, yeah, you don't have any drive-in gigs going on in your area?
There's a couple out here. I mean, I think that for those, I mean, it's really going to depend on how, just to get into a little bit of the business aspect of it, but how many tickets can you sell to get people to come out and see you at a drive-in? And can you make it worth it for your band and yourself and all the people that are going to be involved in doing that? Because it's not just show up at the bar and set up your stuff and play. It's going to be an event. How many cars full of 4 people can my band or anybody else's band get to come out and have it actually be lucrative? If you don't know, I mean, I have a CD coming out, so I might be able to get away with doing something around that time, whether it's a streaming pay-per-view type of situation or do a gig like that. But as far as a sustainable way of playing, it's going to depend on how many tickets you can sell and if that's going to be a viable thing. Obviously, bigger bands can do that because they're going to have that draw. I just saw Warren Haynes booked a couple of solo acoustic shows on the East Coast, and Blackberry Smoke's doing some gigs, but people are going to come out for those guys.
And Marcus King just announced.
And he's doing it as a trio. So he's not even bringing his whole band. He's doing it as a trio so that, he doesn't have to pay the horns and the keyboard. I mean, it's going to be, it'd be interesting for a little bit.
I mean, I kind of pivoted into doing a lot of trio stuff for a band thing myself, and that's part of the reason why is, money. I got to pay these guys. I got to pay my guys. I can't expect them to play for free. We've been fortunate in my state, in Virginia, where although we've been hit pretty bad, we haven't had a flare-up, obviously, like New York or New Jersey. But we're limited to 50 people. Gatherings of 50. So I've been playing like twice a week, solo acoustic, and doing the odd band thing. But again, some of those are 250 people. That's it. That's all I can get into the outdoor venue. So at what point, $50 tickets to make it worthwhile for the venue? I'm not even so concerned about us. I'm more concerned about it doesn't help the venue for me to play there and then make no money. Mm-hmm. That makes things worse. So I've been kind of sticking to doing the acoustic thing. There's a few driving things here, but like I know Keller Williams is doing one up in Richmond. He can obviously, people will buy a higher price ticket to see somebody like Keller. But yeah, I think, and then there's a social responsibility thing too. Like, I don't know that I want to be doing a show, 250 people show up, but one of them didn't know they were sick. And that turns into being an issue on a larger scale. So,
exactly.
I don't want to be involved with that.
And that is the stance the Tina Terry Agency took in April. And I was very grateful that the entire roster understood and that we all decided that, 2020 was gone. We're going to do what we can. And that's a tough thing because on a good day, that's worse than politics, right? Mm-hmm. Even though it's become very political. So let's talk about, did you hear what Van Morrison said?
No, what did he say?
48 hours ago, Van Morrison went live and said, musicians need to start touring and you should just do shows.
Whoa. Really? That's easy for him to say from his castle in Ireland.
And, it was 50-50. 50%, his fans are so avid that they 50% were like, do it, we'll be there. And the other 50% were like, I can't like you anymore.
It's tough. I mean, a guy like, if that's the thing is someone like him, it's also different, I think, depending on what your stature is and what sort of things you're able to put in place. Because look at what tour riders are going to look like now. Like if you're a super famous guy, And you can have a rider that says, when the bus rolls up at the venue, I do not want to see a single person until I get to the stage. And when I get to the stage, the only person I want to see is the stage manager. And I want to see him wiping down the microphones with alcohol swabs.
Yep.
You know, I mean, like, but if you're the blues band that's cruising around, rolling up in the van to the bar, and you walk in, and there's, 50 people that are already partying, coming up and wanting to hug you and stuff like that somewhere because they've been drinking all afternoon, what can you do about that? You can just, I don't know. I mean, it's just, I think that it's really depends on your level as an artist, what you can put into place as far as how safe you want to feel and how safe you want your audience to feel.
So are you thinking about these options, Alastair, for a CD release party?
We have discussed I think we're going to shoot for a live streaming thing. That will look and sound good. As opposed to me right here just playing my acoustic. I did some streaming stuff early on just to kind of keep some music going out there, and I did a couple little kind of show things that I had going for a little bit. And I eased off of that because we're getting ready to kind of promote this record. But I am looking into doing a streaming thing. The idea of doing a drive-in gig has been discussed. We haven't actually nailed anything down as of yet. So we have a few different ideas that we're throwing around as far as ways to promote a record without going on tour.
So I want to backtrack with you just a little bit, Alastair, because, he has his own famous Uncle Anthony.
I know.
Okay.
I've been baiting him this whole time.
What's that?
Yay. So, and yes, it was Alan Parsons.
Yes.
There's a famous. Who has a famous uncle? Do you have a famous uncle?
I don't have a famous uncle.
No, does Anthony have a famous uncle?
Your famous uncle is Uncle Parsons.
Oh, okay.
Yours is Uncle Parsons. When I got back from the Seeger tour, everybody would at home would be like, so what's Bob Seger like?
Oh, right.
And I'd be like, oh, you mean Uncle Bob? We're tight like that.
That's awesome.
So we have a question. And this is a really interesting question because when I read a lot of the stats online, it says that download is high and it's way up, and people are definitely downloading music. So maybe the question isn't specific to CD sales, but just between CDs and downloads. Have you seen that pick up?
I haven't actually seen numbers because I don't have access to the numbers for my last couple CDs because they're with Delta Groove and with Ripcat Records, so I can't just look them up. And I couldn't tell you what pre-sale orders are like right now with my new record. But so my answer to that question is I don't know.
How about you?
Well, I know that the live stream thing that I was talking about, like recording those and putting those up, they did, and again, I'm extremely grateful to anybody who downloaded them, went to the website and downloaded them. They fed my family, and that's how I've been feeding my family. They've done good. I mean, back catalog's done okay, but the new live stream stuff, people have been generous. So
cool.
Which is cool.
So you put them up on your website for a download fee?
Yep. $5 and you can download and it's live. It's still live. So if you watched it and there was something that you enjoyed, you could either just get that one song, or you could get the whole acoustic thing. I did a trio one. I actually did two trio ones. I did two trio ones, a couple of acoustic ones, and like I said, that's been doing well.
That's great.
Wow, you're both married. Are your wives working? Are they essential workers?
Yeah, that's why I'm still have a roof over my head.
Yeah, me too.
My wife works for a school in the technology department.
Oh Lord,
IT department. So she's actually been working, steadily and keeping it going. So she's been on Zoom a lot and she's working from home, doing a little bit of work at the school. So I'm very grateful for that, for sure. I mean, that's how we're able to kind of keep things going.
afloat.
Yeah, my wife works down at Snake Farm.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, she works now. No, I'm looking. That's a Ray Willie Hubbard.
That's Texas, and it's for real. I've driven by it.
It just sounds nasty.
It just sounds nasty.
Snake farm.
Pretty much is. Now, my wife's a dental hygienist, so there was a period in the beginning where they weren't working. She wasn't working. She went back in June and started working again. So,
And
but they just didn't have PPE.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
And you have 2 or 3 kids?
I have 2.
2.
2 girls.
Oh Lord.
We have 2 girl cats.
That's bad because
a lot easier.
Girl cats, they fight, don't they?
A lot easier.
How old are your girls, Anthony?
My youngest is 12. My oldest is 22.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same baby mama.
That's good.
We've been married 23 years. So.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So talk about last time I saw you live, Anthony. You were showing some slides from a friend. I met that gentleman, and I'm gonna let you tell me who he is and what I'm talking about. When I was Sandbox Productions, almost 26 years ago, was when I met that gentleman.
Oh, wow.
So when I zoomed in onto your thing and saw what you were doing, I was like, oh, that's so awesome to see more people learning about his products. So tell me.
All right, well, let me get it. It's right here. I'm going to reach over. So my buddy Doc over at Rocky Mountain Slides, I talked to him on the phone. I'd met him through a friend of mine, Tony Bullard. And he sent me a bunch of slides. And one of the ones he sent was a ceramic one. And then he also sent a brass one. And the brass one had this cool finger cut. So you could bend your finger when you're playing slide. I play a lot of slide in standard tuning, open tunings and stuff. But I also like to pick and finger mix slide and regular playing. So anyway, he called me to ask me how I like the slides. I told him, well, I really like this one and I really like this one. But I don't like the sound of brass. I like the sound of ceramic. So Doc hooked me up and made this. This is a prototype.
Cool.
Of the it'll be the Rosano model. Swamp Finger.
Swamp Finger. That's great.
Yeah.
That's it. That's a band name. Quick, copyright that.
So yeah. It's a great sounding slide. I mean, Doc makes terrific stuff. He's a terrific person.
Cool.
He's a great guy. He's a good guy to just talk to.
Nice.
Alastair, have you ever talked to him? You met him?
I have not. I have a bunch of slides hanging out right here. But
you gotta get up with him. He makes incredible stuff.
Cool. That's good to know. Right on.
Yeah, he really does. And when I met Doc, my first company was more management. But you sign a bunch of artists without managers, you quickly become a booking agent. And Doc had a radio show at that time.
Yep.
And he played all my artists. He made me feel so important. And then it was just so ironic at the time that I ended up going to Piedmont Talent, was about the time that, this product had been fine-tuned. And he started, endorsing some of the blues artists. And so it was pretty cool that our worlds kind of went from the jam scene to the blues scene. And yeah.
That's neat.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's cool when, people you admire keep running full circle. That's the fun part.
It was for me, it was like, I'm obviously a big Warren Haynes fan.
Yeah.
A massive Anders Osborne fan. And both of those guys are Rocky Mountain Slides guys.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, when I got a chance to play with Anders, I think it was right before or right after. It was right before we did the Seeger tour. And they put us on this thing, the American Music Festival. And they had Anders. I don't know why, but they had Anders play before us, which I was nervous because he's amazing, and I didn't want to go on after him. But he had invited me up to sit in for a song he ended up keeping me up for the whole show, his whole set.
Nice.
And which was cool. But yeah, I was looking at his slides, and he was like, "Oh, you got to check this guy out, Rocky Mountain Slides." You know, and then a couple, 6 months later, I'm getting a phone call from Doc. It was pretty cool.
That's neat.
And are they shatterproof?
No, I mean they're ceramic, so they're pretty hardy. That's why I like glass slides too, but I generally don't use them because I will always break it.
Yeah.
I'll always drop it and break it.
You gotta have spares.
Yeah, gotta have spares. These are pretty hardy. I mean, I've had a good luck with these. I haven't dropped them on concrete or anything.
Right. I haven't thrown it against the wall.
Yeah. But this particular one, one of the other things that's cool about it is I don't know if you'll be able to see, but it's
like trying to like. What?
Yeah. Thick-walled on the back and thin-walled on the playing surface.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
So I like a thin-wall slide, but I like the weight and the durability of a thick. So he did that. I mean, Doc's just a great,
that's awesome.
super cool guy. And they also make really good kazoos.
We could have our own slide geek show. Like, well, we got this one, got that one.
Yeah.
I have some, but as I tell Doc, I'll never play. And he's like, but you don't have to know how if you slide.
Yeah. You can make it up a little bit.
They're works of art to me.
I'm proof of that.
I
already proved it.
That's not true.
I don't know what I'm doing. I can dig it. Slide that thing around.
So what's your new piece of equipment that you've purchased, Alastair, that makes you happy?
I haven't. You know what? That's actually not true. I have purchased a couple things. It's mostly for my home recording setup. This is some geeky stuff. You ready?
Yep.
Okay, well, I finally got a volume pedal because I haven't really used a volume pedal, so I'm not going to get the camera and go around my office, but I've got a little setup down here where I've got, obviously I've got guitars in here, and I've got an amplifier over here, and then I have a speaker cabinet in the other room. And this computer is what I use to record on. So by my feet here, I've got my tuner and a little pedal board and an AB box that splits the signal from going into the computer to record, and then also going into the amp that's got the cabinet in the other room, so I can record a direct signal and an amp signal at the same time. So I can, when you send tracks, this is really geeky now, to people when you're recording on an album remotely, I like to mic up an amplifier. And I also like to record a direct signal in case they want to do something else with that sound. If they don't like the amp sound, you can take a direct signal and do a bunch of things with it, run it through another amp or run it through a plug-in in the computer. So I have a volume pedal, and then I've always wanted one of these that I haven't had before, but I've had it used on records in other people's studios. It's an EBO.
Oh yeah.
And this is just for people that don't know. You switch it on. You can see that light right there. And what it does is there's a magnet in here, and you put this on the guitar, and what it does is when it's on, I don't know if you can hear that, but it basically just sustains the string indefinitely. So you start sustaining a string, and then you play here and on just the one string, and it's a pretty geeky effect. But you can emulate, and then with the volume pedal, you can really kind of emulate like a violin or like a stringed instrument like that with the attack and the sustain. So it's really geeky stuff. I'm just going to say it's pretty geeky, but it's fun, and it's kind of kept me kind of upping my home recording game, because that's really been something I've been trying to pursue, is recording on people's records, and I'm going to use this opportunity to advertise that. But it's something I kind of prided myself on for a long time, is playing on a lot of people's records, and going back to Alan Parsons, that's how I met him. I was playing on somebody else's record that he was, in his home studio, and so I've been really kind of pushing that as a way to keep myself busy and as an income source, is playing on people's albums. And so to bring it all full circle, upping my technological game has really, helped with that. And I can produce quality tracks right here and put them on somebody's record that lives in the Ukraine. I did, which is serious. I played on some guy's record that lives in the Ukraine from my own, my own office. Here you go. Here's some guitar parts. Have fun.
Worst guitar player ever.
Lost your audio.
Did the home studio more come out of the desire to want to record your album this year, or is it strictly as you stated?
What's that? I mean, just upping my game, you mean, kind of?
To be more flexible in
Yeah, well, I mean, the record that I did with Tab at his studio, at his house. But as far as doing stuff here, yeah, I mean, because I don't know what the future is going to hold. So I have, friends that play drums. They can create quality drum tracks, and I have friends that play bass. I mean, you can make a record from home. It's not ideal with this style of music if we're talking blues, roots music and stuff, where a lot of what happens is the interaction of the musicians in the room. That's ideal.
Yeah.
Is to be in a room with whatever, 2, 3, 4 other guys and make music and vibe off each other. That's ideal. If you can't do that, the next best thing is to get guys that are stone cold killers to make tracks, and a lot of records are made that way. I mean, you'd be surprised of even people in the blues community that have made records like that, where you can send tracks around, and if everyone has a good feel on their instrument, it's going to sound good. If they can record good tracks and they've got good feel, it's going to sound good. It's not going to be 100% live, of course, because that's something you can't really recreate. But you can get close. I'll bet I could fool you.
So most of the events, from 2020 went to 2021.
Yeah.
So hoping that all is moving forward, what is the first festival people can see you at in 2021?
I don't know.
If there's anybody looking, I'm available. Schedule's wide open.
I had a few things moved. I mean, I haven't. I was going to do a gig in May. My concept of time is gone.
All of ours.
There's a festival in San Diego called the Gator by the Bay Festival, and we were booked to play that. My band featuring Debbie Davies as a guest. And so Debbie lives close to where I live, and we've become friends, and we've done a lot of shows together. And so one of the things that we were kind of presenting to buyers was Alastair Greene band featuring Debbie Davies, where my band comes out and does whatever half hour, 45, and then she comes out and plays with us for 45 or an hour, and it's a good package, and she still sounds great singing and playing. So that was the first thing that we were told was going to be rescheduled for 2021. So that would be May of next year, and there's the Blues Bender, but that's September, so that's over a year. That's 13 months away. What year is it? No,
what is it? September 13.
Yeah, so 13 months away. So they're doing a virtual Bender this year, but as far as the actual Bender, that's 2021 September. So
yeah,
I got two gigs next year.
I got 2 gigs. Dates, but I think it's September 10 through 13.
Yeah,
is the virtual.
Yeah. So I got 2 gigs in 2021. That's cool.
How about you?
I was literally in, I don't want to say negotiation because it wasn't a negotiation. It was discussions. I was in discussions with doing 2 more tours. One of them was a big package tour, more country-ish thing. But I think I would have been we would have been the rock thing or blues rock thing on that. And one of the other tours was for I don't even want to say classic rock. I don't want to say who it is because it's gonna. I don't want to sound pompous, and it never got past the "Hey, would you be interested in this?" phase. But it was an acoustic thing, opening for literally an American legend. And I was like, yeah, absolutely, I'll do it. And then I was told to hold the dates, and then all this happened.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't know
it's
what's
crazy.
going on next year.
Yeah. Well, I was 2 days away from going down to New Orleans and doing a month-long tour with Tab when this happened, and that was part of the thing we were going to do to promote this record. Is he takes some of his artists out on the road. So I was looking forward to that. We're still talking about that, when that's going to happen and whatnot. And again, I think all that is going to be 2021 most likely, if I'm going to be involved as the opener on that. I know he's got some dates still on the books, but like I said, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So, what do you do for fun? I mean, music is so much our life, but what's your hobbies? What do you do for fun?
Go ahead, man. I'm going to have to think about this one.
Well,
throw you under the bus.
I rediscovered my love for motorcycling. So
I saw that. Yes.
When I started this band in 2012, I sold my Harley Davidson and used that money to buy a Mac G5, a recording interface, and that's what we did the first record in my garage on. And then I also bought a van so I could bring PA to gigs and stuff and bring equipment. So it's been that long since I've had a motorcycle. So my wife and I had saved up some money, and really probably a foolish decision at this point, because who knows what uncertainty it is. But at the time, June, it was like, well, things are going to be shut down. We're not going to be able to go away. She wanted to learn to ride her own motorcycle. So we went to see a buddy of mine, and anyway, I picked up a Triumph. Motorcycle.
Nice.
So, and I've really been enjoying doing that. I got it in May, and it's got 3,300 miles on it since May. So one of the things that I've enjoyed doing and being creative too is I take my GoPro out and I'll go get lost, like literally get lost out in the country.
Nice.
Right. And film the whole day. And then come home, edit the video, and then put a soundtrack. I'll just pull up some stuff in my studio and write something and do something, a soundtrack for that video, and then put it up on YouTube.
Sweet.
So I just today launched a new YouTube channel that's more centered on that, the motorcycle soundtrack thing. It's called The Mustache Rides.
I'll bet that thing looks amazing with the motorcycle going. Right?
It's kind of crazy. Yeah, it is kind of crazy.
I love it. That's awesome.
So I just launched that today. I just started that. I've got a couple of videos up on there. So if you want to check that out, if anybody wants to check that out. But I thought it would be an exercise in songwriting too.
Yeah.
A way to do something and be influenced by something that I'm watching. I mean, even though I did do the ride. But so yeah, I plan on doing that. So I plan on moving forward with that. So it's fun, but it's also incorporated into, the music thing. Everything with me is music. It doesn't. Yeah. I'm sure, Alastair. I'm sure you're the same way.
Yeah. I mean, aside from grilling a lot more at home and trying to perfect my grill skills, everything for me still kind of revolves around music. But I grew up, and I haven't made a big secret about this. I grew up a hard rock and heavy metal kid. That's how I got into playing guitar. That's how I got into music. And then I shifted my focus over the years to different things. But I've been reconnecting with a lot of my old records and getting some other records and filling in some gaps in my collection. And so, listening to Iron Maiden and UFO and Dio and Black Sabbath and all that stuff. And then that's kind of translated into, aside from working on more blues rock stuff, is recording and working on some kind of instrumental guitar music, writing some heavier music, and it's really kind of gotten me into some different practice routines for the guitar, which is fun, which I wouldn't necessarily use in a blues rock context, But, you know, so it's just kind of part of the process of getting through this whole time for me has been to embrace things that originally made me excited about music, to kind of keep me. I mean, so it's almost like this inner 17-year-old woke up and just went, hey man, you never really learned how to play that Van Halen solo when you were a kid, because by the time you actually got good enough to play, you'd sort of switched over to this blues rock thing. So now that I kind of can figure out how to play a little bit, I can actually revisit some of that stuff and come at it from a different angle, like, oh, I know how to play guitar now. I might be able to actually do this. So it's kind of awoken this sort of curious spirit within me to get back into the stuff that excited me to play the guitar in the first place, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I've kind of gotten to, it's funny that you say that, dude. So a lot of these blues cats will kind of bag on the metal thing, but I know a lot of those dudes listen to Maiden and Priest, just like you and me.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I've sort of embraced with the things that I'm writing is like, look, it could be 50% Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, and 50% Hard Again, and that's 100% me.
Yeah,
that's 100%
no doubt.
of what I'm. That's 100% of what I'm about. So I've done the same thing, man. I've gotten back into like some of the heavier stuff that I like. Like I said, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. I think I wore the grooves out of that.
Oh, that's a great record.
In the past 3 months.
Well, I mean, it's interesting you touch on that. I mean, you know, I think as a blues rock artist, the rock influence on blues can literally be anything. You know, I mean, and so and you know, and I think, you know, for me to try and, you know, be 100% blues is not being true to myself and my, you know, just all the music that I like. And I also, I mean, also feel in a way it's like I'd almost feel like I was being a farce, because there's so many people that are stone cold blues musicians, and I want to be respectful of that. I don't know if, at least in the last 10 years, I've always said I'm a blues rock artist. I almost regard like a true blues artist like as like a true jazz. Like I have a lot of respect for that, and that's, you know, to me, a very high mantle for somebody to wear. It's like a real blues artist. That's a thing. And not to say that blues rock isn't that, and I don't have a high regard for that. But no, I mean, look at us. We got long hair. We like to rock out. I mean, I got a Gibson SG in the background. You know. I mean, I know, you know, Lonnie Brooks, I think, played an SG for a while. And, you know, you've seen some people play SGs, but anyhow, I mean. Yeah, it's just, I think it's part of just kind of embracing who you are and what you like, and hopefully people like that. You know, if you like Sabbath and you like Muddy Waters, you'll probably like Anthony, and you'll probably like me. So it's like nothing wrong with that.
So what about 9 Inch Nails? Where do they fall? Like them, don't like them?
I like them.
I was never a huge fan. Like that was like the 90s, and there was stuff I liked about the 90s, and there was stuff I didn't gravitate to. I liked it when I heard it, but I didn't go out and buy it.
I'm going to go see that band no matter how old I am. If I'm in a wheelchair, I will hire somebody to take me.
I literally have always liked everything. Like, there's not a lot of music that I don't like. Maybe some of the manufactured, like, I wasn't like really big. Backstreet Boys were okay. NSYNC wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
No.
Gotta draw the line somewhere. You gotta draw the line.
But yeah, I mean, I like 9 Inch Nails. I like Public Enemy.
Yeah.
I like Skid James.
Yeah.
I mean, I like it all. I think it's all valid. I think it's all valid stuff.
That's funny.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a rock record, bro.
Yeah, dude, I'm down. I've been collaborating with people, man.
We should do it.
Yeah, and that's been the most fun thing about these pairings. In one of my gig sessions, I had Lori Bell and Trudy Lynn.
Oh, neat.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time we were done, I've just got to offer it to the buyers. There's just going to be an acoustic Lurie and Trudy show. Like it just happened, and it's going to happen, and how awesome would that be?
That's great.
And I did. I actually said that is so amazing that they made the commitment, you know. And I'm cool, like both their agents, so I'm like committed. You got it. We will do that. So yeah, as we head out of here today, tell everybody how they can reach you, your website, your social media outlets. Anthony, go first.
Okay. My website is anthonyrosano.com. You can also find me on Instagram. Anthony Rosano official. I gotta remember all this stuff. There's so many things to remember. It's ridiculous.
It's impossible.
Anthony Rosano official on Instagram. Spotify, Anthony Rosano and the Conquerors. There's also some of the new stuff that I'm recording at my home by myself is under Anthony Rosano on Spotify. Anthony Rosano Music on Facebook and on YouTube. And the Mustache Rides.
I'm going to subscribe to that channel right now. I'm going to subscribe to that channel.
For what it's worth, my wife hates the name. She hates it.
Oh, I get it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I was like, well, I got to do it. I have to do it. Everybody. I shaved my mustache like a couple months ago, and people lost their minds.
Oh,
They were
really?
like, what did you do? Well, because I'm ugly too, so I need this to cover it. But
That's funny. I'm going on YouTube right now. Well,
How do they reach you?
Same thing. If you can spell my name, it's alastairgreene.com. And that's not a dig.
At the end of Green.
That's not a dig. But my website, I actually created, it's actually agsongs.com. Everything points there. And from there, you can, there's the links, on Facebook, it's Alastair Greene Official. On Insta Weird, it's just Alastair Greene. On Twitter, it's Alastair Greene. On YouTube, it's AG Blues Band. So the Mustache Ride, is it Ride or Rides?
it should be. Let me say, it should be Rides.
Okay. I'll search for it a little bit harder when we get off here. But so obviously like everybody's pages and subscribe to everybody's things. And Tina, I know you've got your Facebook and your website and everything too. So if we can universally like everything, like me, like my friends,
Like. Oh, look, it's Rides.
Okay, there it is. I'll look for it. All right.
I like the logo.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Did you do that? You designed it?
I mean, that's all the stuff with my band is like. That's one of the things I was joking about when we were doing a sound test on this. It's like we record at home, we write songs, we play. Sometimes I have to be a sound man at my gig. I have to do logos, social media, and now I'm a TV producer too. Like, what else can we do?
Yeah.
I think in 2022. You're going to have to get your carpenter's license and actually build the venue.
Right.
That's what you're going to have to do at that point. You're going to have to just go out, build your own home.
Home stage there.
Turn the garage into a bar.
I just had an idea.
Uh-oh.
Tent revivals, but you do it with your band. You just load up the wagon, bro. Bring a tent, all your stuff. And you just drive to a field, set up like a carnival.
Boom.
And that's it. Boom. We're going to play.
If you build it, they will come.
They will come. Or they won't. And we'll lose a lot of money doing something. But it might be fun.
No, I think you're going to see that. And I think you're going to see a lot of that in the essence of, like you guys touched on. Right now, the drive-in scenario, if not a local promoter, is really made for the artists that can draw. Mm-hmm. So I think you're going to see a lot of folks doing exactly what you just said to get through that year that's already been scheduled.
Yeah.
Right.
2020 is going to move to 2021. Well, some guys were just coming out of the gate in 2020. So if their stuff doesn't get rescheduled, then a lot of people are chatting about doing that exact thing.
Yeah. Well, it's I mean, on the one hand, we all are in the same boat, of course, and so not a lot of people are doing stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's an unfortunate thing for everybody, and especially people whose careers, like myself or whatever, that you're really still kind of trying to get over certain humps up to the next levels or whatever. It's pretty discouraging. Even I did that last. I did a year with Sugar Ray Rayford and did some touring and left because I was going to do this record with Tab and go on the road with Tab and stuff. And I know Sugar Ray was ramping up for another big year too. I mean, he was nominated for a Grammy and stuff, and now he's home. I mean, so everyone's home and trying to get over whatever hurdles they have in their career, and everyone's stuck right where it was in the end. And you really got to hopefully we can get 2021 back on track for those of us that really need those gigs and really need to kind of get out there and get over that hump, because the bigger artists aren't going to have that challenge. People are going to go see, these larger artists regardless. It's just everybody else that was really still kind of trying to carve a niche and get to that next level that are the ones that are really affected by this.
And I kind of feel the opposite, actually. I kind of feel bad for the bigger artist, because until this idea of a vaccine, large crowds are not something people want to do. So even if they were to have the social distancing, I don't know, people would trust it. But I think that's why I'm sitting here holding on and trying to find the survival is, I think lots of good things are going to come out of this.
Hopefully.
I hope so.
I mean, when you're a live music fan and you haven't seen music in a year, I believe that they are going to want to discover what they don't know.
Yeah.
And
well, I think one of the positives is, like Alastair was saying, as artists, we've got this opportunity, this I hate to say gift, but of rediscovery, of shutting down, and having to figure out, like, not even having to figure out who you are, but rediscover who you really are. Without the trappings of, like, I have to get to this level. I have to get to this. What am I going to do to get here? What am I going to do to... None of that. You don't have to worry about that. Because it ain't happening.
Right.
It ain't happening. So, I mean, it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
So it's afforded some people the opportunity to really reconnect with why they do this in the first place. And when I say some people, I mean me.
Me too.
I don't want to speak for everybody, but
yeah, I can
absolutely.
I think it's an opportunity to reinvent, rediscover who you are.
Absolutely.
And I think maybe people, like you said, at the end of this will be like, well, what's new? What do you got? What's new out of this? And I don't mean new like the next hit. I mean new like, show me who you are. Let's all get together and be a community again. I don't know. I'm getting all weird now.
It's all good, man. I can dig it.
I like
we're out
hippie
of
stuff too.
I mean, I know probably now is not the time to know that it's plausible, but it's a real wish. We've all, music or no music, everybody's life has changed this year.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm just hopeful that all this is truly the elections and that we can come back together as human beings once we get November behind us.
Fingers crossed.
I know.
Yeah, absolutely.
So on that note, it's so awesome to see you guys.
Good to see you guys.
So
Great to see you. Good to meet you, man.
You too, man. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
I'll like you on Facebook and I'll friend you.
All right, cool.
And you got two new subscribers to your YouTube channel.
On Facebook.
Okay, I'll double check.
Yeah, I think we're just not close, bro.
Right. I don't have you in my feed yet, bro. You're not in my feed.
You don't like enough of my posts.
Yeah.
I was going to talk to you about that off camera.
Thank you for doing this, Tina. This is a great opportunity. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for joining me. You gentlemen have a good day.
Okay, you too. Thank you, Facebook land and YouTube land.
Bye.
Later.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Gig Sessions Lunchtime Talk. Next week's guest will be alt country artist Boo Ray and up-and-comer rock blues artist Shaw Davis. See you then. And don't forget, if you like what you saw here, please click subscribe on our YouTube page or like us on the Gig Sessions Facebook page. Thanks for being here. Bye-bye.